Welcome back, everybody. Give it up. Yeah, you betcha. Give it up.
All right.
We're here on the Twitch stage, powered by Fandom, talking to the cast and the creator of Stan Against Evil. How you guys doing?
Never
Doing
better.
great.
We got John C. McGinley, we got Janet C. Varney, and Elliot C. Gould.
Elliot Siegel.
I know, right?
I got promoted.
You like that, right?
Yeah.
Dana C. Gould. I
Or
apologize.
Elliot. Or Elliot.
Yeah.
Elliot.
Thank you guys so much for being here today. We saw the trailer. We're excited. Getting ready. November 1st, Stan Against Evil.
Just in time for Halloween. Yes, November 1st.
So tell us. Okay, Stan Against Evil. It's on IFC.
Yes.
Can you give like the bookend, the cover book?
The premise of the show is...
Yeah, the premise. There you go.
The premise of the show is
I
quite
know
simple.
words.
What if Archie Bunker replaced Buffy the Vampire Slayer? It's a sitcom trapped in a horror movie. It's a guy that has to fight monsters, and it's not that he doesn't believe in them, he just doesn't give a crap. And, and Janet is his, the other side of the coin, who's the sheriff in town that has to deal with this problem.
Sure. And he's the only one that's actually lived through.
Yeah, every sheriff in town has been cursed, has died in office because in the 1600s, the sheriff burned 172 people as witches, and they've cursed sheriffs on the town. Every sheriff has died except him, and they don't know why. We find out in the show it's because his wife was killing demons behind his back to protect him.
Okay.
And the tone of the piece that Dana has hewed to
Elliot.
very
You like that?
quite assiduously is we borrow liberally from An American Werewolf in London.
Oh.
Okay.
And so
Very
while we didn't have we don't have Baker's budget
Baker's
for
budget,
Rick
no.
Baker's budget, we do have scary demons and funny jokes, and that's a hard place to occupy, because if you take the two extremes of horror, so The Exorcist being one extreme, you can't break a joke in The Exorcist. And
Right,
the other
it'd be a
extreme
little
being
weird.
the other extreme, although Lee J. Cobb tries, the other he does, not successfully. And the other extreme being Scooby-Doo, where there's jokes, but the monsters are denuded, and we're somewhere
Right.
in the middle there, and Dana kind of occupies that space.
Yeah.
I find Scooby-Doo monsters terrifying, so I can't. He's not speaking for me.
Until they pull their mask off, and it's just old Mr. Jenkins from the abandoned
It's
amusement
old man
park.
Withers. We
Right.
all know.
But Withers, you're right. Yeah, basically, it's while it is tricky, it's the only thing I know how to do. So to that end, it's not that difficult.
Well, you're doing it well because season 2 is coming up November 1st.
And season 1, if you haven't seen it, is on Hulu right now, and you can get all caught up.
Now,
And,
I don't
And
know.
it's on Amazon, and it's on Netflix, or rather iTunes.
yeah, it's not on. I don't think it's on Netflix.
And there's a marathon of season 1 on IFC on Halloween. For those of you who
Nice.
don't like engaging with the public on Halloween.
Yeah. Now we're not saying don't take time out for your family, food, or basic hygiene, but you really otherwise have no excuse to not see the show.
That's right.
Now I don't know how spoilery we can get, but can we
We can get plenty spoilery.
Can we talk about like where season 2 starts?
Yeah. I'll take that.
Okay.
Season 1 ended with what we call a bit of a cliffhanger. Janet's character was trapped in the 1600s, about to get burned alive at the stake. And so I had painted myself into quite a corner. And I wanted to start the show off in a way that resolved that story, unlike another show like, I don't know, let me pull a name out of the hat, Twin Peaks. I thought it would be interesting to actually address the issue instead of going, Janet's trapped in the 1600s, about to get burned at the stake. I know, but look at that, an old pinball machine. I wonder if it works.
Just the I love the shade, man. I love the shade.
I'd be happy to work with David Lynch.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
want to make it clear that
Yeah. David Lynch told me a great joke the other day. Knock, knock, who's there? Ted. Ted who? Never mind. What is that, a balloon? So, spoiler alert, Janet doesn't die in the first episode. We find a way.
Sorry, guys.
We find a way to rescue her from the 1600s, and by doing that, it gives John the opportunity to find this vehicle of limited time travel to go back into the past and correct some things about his life that are very important to
And
him.
by John, you mean Stan?
Stan, yes,
Okay.
John McGinley. He wants to go back and save his wife's life. And unfortunately, things like that never work out the way you planned. And the premise of this series is good intentions gone horribly wrong.
Right on.
Just like life.
That's the story of my life. I always have the best ideas, and they never ever
Yeah.
pan out for me.
I know.
Now I gotta
I
ask you a question. Stan is a weathered man. do you drink to get into character? I just wonder.
No, I just read the words Dana puts on the page. They're so bulletproof that when you get the scripts, you got to just you follow the path that Dana cut. It's pretty remarkable what he puts on the page.
Now this is a question that everybody asks. I know it's a softball, blah 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 blah. What drew you to the project?
When the scripts that I got that Dana wrote, I said yes to, and then I wanted to add some compassion and some love to Stan underneath it all. I thought to make him. So we can reconcile him being the Archie Bunker equal opportunity offender. There had to be some core love in there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so and Dana allowed me to explore that, and so that's what rounded out. That's what bullnosed the edges for Stan.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, having watched your previous work and stuff, they couldn't have picked a better actor to portray
Sure.
someone who has rough edges, but has, a core goodness.
And a vulnerability.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Otherwise, he's just this week's jackass, and who cares?
Right.
I would change the channel.
Yeah.
Right,
And,
yeah.
And so the Dana let us explore that and keep a bunch of that in, which is easily lost in the edit. Was a game changer for me, and he doubled down on that. Dana doubled down on that in season 2 and gave Janet and myself this stunning emotional arc, while not taking away from the comedy or the horror.
Sure.
There's some things that Janet and I get to do in season 2 that are just an actor's dream.
And
Now,
all
how-
the comedy and the horror works better when it's grounded in reality anyway, and that emotion lends to that. And I will say, like to what John said, what John and Janet brought to their characters makes me look better as a writer because I'm forced to rise to their challenge and to go deeper and to make it better. So that's what's I have 2 jobs. I'm a stand-up comedian, which is a completely solitary job, and then I'm a TV show writer, and that's
That's
it's a
interesting.
group effort,
Yep.
and it's such a relief to have creative partners, and it's a complete collaboration with all of the actors, and just not ever wardrobe. I'm kidding.
Speaking of wardrobe, I'm really curious. What are some of the horror stories and that inspired you to kind of construct season 1?
Oh well, season 1 was based on the premise of the show is that it was like Salem, Massachusetts. There was a horrible witch burning, and the witches have cursed all the sheriffs of this town. So it gave me, using that canvas, it let me tell stories that follow that arc and then do standalone episodes. It's a lot like the X-Files.
Okay.
We have mythology episodes that follow the mythology, and then we have standalone episodes that are my chance to do parody and homages to movies that I love. And in season 1, we had a big demon that was sort of my homage to one of my favorite drive-in movies, Prophecy, Remain Seated. And in season 2, we have an episode that is a tribute to An American Werewolf in London, which is one of my favorite movies, called Curse of the Werepony, half man, half pony, all terror. And we have a demon baby. We have a lot of
Yes.
we have a lot of great stuff. Demon baby as opposed to just baby,
Right.
which, not to be redundant. But no, it's a ton of fun, and then you get to have those, and then you go back and you dig into the mythology, and I thought it worked really well on the X-Files, and I thought I'll steal that.
Hey.
Okay, couple of selfish things for you guys before we end. You saw a shirt out in the audience about spread the word, end the word. I want to hear about that just a little bit, if you could.
Spread the word to end the word is a viral campaign that we started at the Special Olympics after the World Winter Games in Boise, where at every World Games there's a component called a Youth Leadership Conference, and it's 180 athletes from around the world, and to a person they all were offended by and were fed up with being disparaged by the words retard and retarded. And so the athletes created a campaign called Spread the Word to End the Word, and we made it a viral campaign, and all it wants to do is encourage people to use compassion whenever they want to use the words retard or retarded. And it's caught on, and there's a lovely woman here with one of our T-shirts on, and
Front row.
just made my whole Comic-Con. It made me really happy.
It's awesome.
Hey, I
And-
want to actually say something to that, and then
Okay.
because I was one of those people. I'm a stand-up comedian, and I would use that word in that way.
Sure.
And people would call you out on it. And I'm from Boston, where there were two words that you were described. You were either that word or queer.
Right.
And neither one of them meant the literal translation. But I always would defend it in that regard. Oh, come on, it doesn't mean that. We're doing this. But instead of just being vilified with John, when you meet people, when you see the faces behind the words, and you get to know the real people, it is a game changer for you personally. And I think to that end, the people who do use that word, who may be reluctant to to change it because they don't want to admit that they're wrong, they get defensive, that people need to be allowed to learn and grow in public.
Absolutely.
Sure.
I couldn't agree more.
And I was one of those people.
Excellent. That's awesome
Well,
to hear.
thank you.
Okay, he's telling me to wrap up, but tell me about your comedy album quick.
I have a new comedy album called Mr. Funny Man that drops tomorrow. It's on iTunes.
And he gave us
He gave
mustaches to wear.
mustaches.
He gave me. I already have a kind of a mustache, so it doesn't really
That's
work all that well.
You guys
But
are
You've got a
awesome for
backup
putting those
stash.
on.
Is
check
it-
out the comedy album. Stand Against Evil starts November season 2 starts November 1st on IFC. Thank you guys very much for being here.
Cheers.